Gout. For so many people, that word just means one thing: sudden, excruciating pain. But what if the way we've all been taught to fight it is just completely wrong? In this explainer, we're going to dive into a story that says the real cause of this awful disease isn't in your joints at all. Nope, it's hidden somewhere you would probably never expect. And let's be really clear here. We are not talking about some minor ache you just walk off. The source material describes a pain so intense, it can literally bring you to tears, bring you to your knees. It's a full-on assault on your body. And for millions of people, it's a nightmare that just keeps coming back.
Okay, so before we can get to this new idea, we've got to understand the old one, right? We need to look at the conventional wisdom. What does mainstream medicine actually say is going on inside your body when one of these attacks hits?
So, the standard medical story? It goes something like this. First, you get way too much uric acid floating around in your blood. Then, this acid starts forming these tiny, spike-shaped crystals. You can just imagine how that feels. These little needles then get lodged in your joints. And that crazy, intense pain? Well, that's actually your own immune system freaking out and launching a massive attack on those crystals. That's what causes all that inflammation and agony.
And so, logically, the standard advice kind of follows from that, right? Cut back on red meat and alcohol, take some anti-inflammatory drugs, maybe get some steroid shots. But here's the thing. The source material argues that, for so many people, this is just treating the smoke. It's not putting out the fire. The attacks just keep coming back because the real problem, the root cause, isn't being touched at all.
And this is where everything changes. This is the big pivot in the argument. The source we're looking at proposes that the reason those conventional treatments don't really work long-term is because we've all been asking the completely wrong question from the start.
Check out this shift in perspective. The standard view is always, the problem is too much uric acid. It's an overproduction problem. But the new question is totally different. It asks, why can't my body get rid of the uric acid it's already making anymore? See the difference? This reframes the entire problem. It's not about making too much. It's about a breakdown in the cleanup crew.
And listen to this. According to the research cited in our source, this isn't some small academic distinction. It's huge. For a whopping 90%, 90, of people suffering from gout, the issue is not overproduction. It's underprocessing. Their bodies just can't get rid of it like they used to.
So that really frames our whole investigation here, doesn't it? Think about it. For years, maybe decades, your body handled uric acid just fine. No problem. And then something just stopped working. The real mystery is figuring out what that something is, because if we can find that, we might just have the key to solving this whole thing for good.
And the answer, at least according to this viewpoint, is hiding in a place most of us would never, ever think to look. It's in an entire, almost forgotten organ that's living right inside of you. We're talking about your gut microbiome.
So, what if the key to your health wasn't just in your human cells, but in your gut? That's the question that really unlocks this whole puzzle. It forces us to completely shift how we see our own bodies, away from just us and toward this massive living ecosystem inside of us.
I mean, the scale here is just mind-boggling. We're talking about 75 trillion bacteria living in your gut. To put that into perspective for you, that means there are more bacterial cells inside you right now than there are human cells in your entire body. So in a very real way, you're actually more microbe than you are human. Wild, right?
So, this giant community of microorganisms, that's what scientists call the microbiome. And these little guys aren't just passive passengers, just hanging out for a free ride. No way. They are active partners in your health, performing all these vital jobs that are absolutely essential for you to live.
I mean, just let that sink in for a second. The source makes a huge point here. Scientists are starting to think of the microbiome as an organ in its own right. A whole new organ, as vital to your survival as your heart or your lungs. That's a game changer.
And just like any other part of your body, the health of this gut organ is all about balance. In a healthy gut, about 95% of the bacteria are the good guys, the beneficial ones. All the problems really start when that delicate balance gets totally thrown out of whack.
Okay, so now we get to the main event, the gut-gout connection. How in the world does this newly discovered organ inside of us connect directly to that awful, sharp pain of a gout attack?
The central idea is actually really simple, and it's pretty shocking. Put plainly, gout is a disease of the gut. That's it. It's not a joint disease, it's not a blood disease. The pain you feel in your big toe, that's just the final symptom of a problem that started way, way deeper.
So here's how that pathway works. Step 1. Your gut becomes unhealthy and unbalanced. Because of that, your body loses its ability to process uric acid correctly. So what happens? The uric acid builds up, it forms those nasty crystals, and boom, your immune system attacks, and you've got a full-blown gout flare-up.
But now let's flip it. Let's look at the healthy pathway. When you have a healthy, thriving gut, those good bacteria do something amazing that our own human cells just can't. They actually eat up to 1/3 of the uric acid in your system and convert it into something totally harmless called allantoin. Allantoin just dissolves in water and your body flushes it right out. Problem solved.
And that right there is the key transformation. It's the whole ballgame. On one side, you've got uric acid, sharp, painful crystals. On the other side, you have allantoin, totally harmless, dissolves in water, easy to pass. And the little heroes that make this amazing chemical reaction happen? Your good gut bacteria. They're like a tiny army of chemists working for you 24/7.
So, it's pretty simple, right? If an unhealthy gut is the cause of the problem, then getting your gut healthy again has to be the solution. And what that means is we can finally stop just chasing the symptoms with pills and actually start fixing the problem at its true source.
But the solution being proposed here isn't just, eat healthy. It's way more specific than that. It's about a targeted approach. It's about consciously eating foods that feed your good bacteria and, just as importantly, starve out the bad ones. You're basically becoming an engineer for your own internal ecosystem.
And look, this is where this idea gets even bigger. This isn't just about gout. Researchers are now linking poor gut health to a whole list of other major modern diseases. We're talking type 2 diabetes, obesity, heart disease, kidney problems, even things like anxiety and depression.
So the takeaway here is pretty profound when you think about it. By addressing what might be the root cause of gout, your gut health, you might also be reducing your risk for a ton of other serious conditions. Restoring that internal balance could be one of the single most powerful things you can do for your long-term health.
And that really leaves us with a pretty wild final thought, doesn't it? We live in this age of incredible high-tech medicine. But what if the answer to some of our most stubborn modern diseases isn't some new pill, but is actually found by looking inward, by learning how to take care of this ancient, microscopic community that has been our partner for all of human history? It's a powerful idea to chew on.